Welcome back to Magic Treehouse Club. It's time to go on another adventure with Jack and Annie. Tonight, they'll be going to Hawaii. Tonight's Magic Treehouse story is Magic Treehouse number 28, High Tide in Hawaii. In the previous 3 books, Jack and Annie have been looking for special types of magic. So far, they've found magic in the time of William Shakespeare, in the jungles with gorillas, and at the very first Thanksgiving. I wonder what sort of magic they'll find in Hawaii. Our story begins with Jack and Annie spending time together, reading at the end of the day. Suddenly, Annie gets up and tells Jack that the treehouse is back. They quickly head to the woods after their parents tell them to be home before dark. When they arrive at the treehouse, they see the items they have gathered in their previous 3 adventures: the scrolls from Shakespeare, the twig from the gorillas, and the corn seeds from the first Thanksgiving. They also see a note from Morgan. It says, "Dear Jack and Annie, good luck on your 4th journey to find a special magic. This rhyme will guide you. To find a special magic, build a special kind of ship that rides the waves both high and low on every kind of trip. Thank you, Morgan." After reading the note, they check the book they'll be using on this adventure. It's called A Visit to Old Hawaii. Annie is very excited to go to the beautiful islands, and soon they are on their way. When they arrive, Jack and Annie are both impressed by the beautiful beaches and scenery. They even see a small village in the distance. Jack's book tells them that Hawaii is a group of volcanic islands in the Pacific Ocean. The largest of the islands is called Hawaii. The book also describes how volcanoes erupting repeatedly over a long period of time created the islands. People arrived on the islands an estimated 2,000 years ago, sailing on canoes. After learning more about the island, Annie says she hears music coming from the village and says they should go check it out. Jack is concerned about finding the ship from Morgan's note, but agrees to go with Annie. They are impressed with the colorful flowers, birds, and other amazing scenery they see as they head towards the village. When they arrive in the village, they see a large group of nearly 50 people of all ages, wearing flower wreaths, dancing, singing, and playing music. Annie says they must be hula dancing. Jack checks the book to learn more. It tells him that the early people of Hawaii did not have a written language yet, so they used music and dance to tell stories and pass on knowledge. When Jack looks up from his book, he sees Annie has joined the group of dancers. He is also invited to join by a young girl about Annie's age. Jack is very reluctant, but everyone is incredibly friendly. The girl introduces herself as Kama, and a nearby boy as her older brother Boka. They each give Jack and Annie a flower necklace called a lei and welcome them by saying aloha. The friendly villagers ask Jack and Annie about themselves, and before Annie can tell them that they're all the way from Frog Creek, Pennsylvania, Jack simply states they're from over the mountains. Everyone is very kind and friendly, and they invite Jack and Annie to sit and chat with them a while. They then offer Jack and Annie some food, a porridge dish called poi. After being showed such kindness, Jack tells Kama and Boka the truth about the magic treehouse. They are both very impressed. They invite Jack and Annie to stay the night in their village and take them to their home and give them mats to sleep on. Before they go to sleep, Kama and Boka promise to take them surfing in the morning. Annie is very excited, but Jack is nervous. The next morning, Jack wakes up to a loud noise in the village. He thinks they might be building a ship, and he and Annie head out to investigate. Instead, their hosts are making grass mats called tapa, which is a type of cloth. They are also preparing more poi. After helping Kama and Boka with their chores, their new friends head to the beach to teach them to surf. Jack is worried about surfing and what they're going to eat for breakfast on the beach. On the way to the beach, Kama asks if Jack and Annie are hungry. She and Boka climb a nearby palm tree and then shake them, bringing down some delicious coconuts. They break the coconuts with rocks and share the delicious milk inside with Jack and Annie. Next, they share fresh bananas. After this tasty breakfast, they finally make it to the beach. Kama and Boka show Jack and Annie the surfboards on the beach. Jack tries to say he'd rather just walk on the sand, but everyone insists. Then he tries to say he wants to read about surfing first. While Kama is impressed with the book, Annie says they should just let their new friend show them the proper way to surf. Jack has trouble as they paddle out to sea and thinks Boca and Kama are explaining things way too quickly. As a wave approaches, he sees Boca, Kama, and Annie begin to surf, but he only manages to lose his balance and fall in the water. Despite trying several times, Jack eventually gives up and heads to shore exhausted. Annie and their new friends are worried about Jack, but think he should try getting back in the water and surfing again. Jack gets very grouchy though and snaps at everyone, so they go back to surfing while he stays on the beach. He grumbles about how they still haven't found Morgan's ship, and they shouldn't be wasting time surfing. As Jack grumbles about Morgan, Annie, the ship, surfing, and all sorts of other things, the ground suddenly begins to shake. He realizes it must be an earthquake. After all, this isn't Jack's first experience with earthquakes. If you remember back in Magic Tree House number 24, Earthquake in Early Morning, Jack survived the Great San Francisco Earthquake of 1906. After the quake is over, he checks on the surfing trio. They seem fine, but Jack still feels like something is not right, so he quickly checks his book. It tells him that after earthquakes in Hawaii, sometimes a massive, dangerous wave called a tsunami can arrive within a few hours or even a few minutes of the quake. The book warns him that in the event of a tsunami, you must flee to high ground. Jack tries to get the surfing group's attention, but they are far too out to sea and having far too much fun. So Jack is forced to get back on the surfboard, and he frantically paddles to the group, calling for help. They quickly head over to see if Jack is all right, and he explains they are all in danger. A tsunami is coming, and they need to get to safety. Jack, Kama, and Boca manage to get back to shore fairly quickly, but Annie is still in the water when the tide suddenly starts to pull away, leaving fish flopping on the suddenly bare sand. Annie rushes to the group, and then they all frantically race up the cliff path to high ground as they see the massive wave approaching the shore. Luckily, the cliff was high enough to protect Jack, Annie, and their friends from the tsunami. And after it passed, the children are hugged and greeted by the villagers who came looking for them. Everyone is very relieved that no one was hurt. When they get back to the village, the children describe what happened and how Jack's book helped. Boca says the best way to explain what happened to the rest of the village is to do a hula dance to tell the story. Boca, Kama, and Annie begin, and eventually Jack joins in too. After the dance is over, Boca, Kama, Annie, and Jack talk about how they've become the best of friends, and Jack apologizes for being a bit grouchy earlier. Jack and Annie realize the ship Morgan was talking about in her rhyme was friendship. Jack and Annie say goodbye to their new friends. Boca and Kama explain that aloha means both hello and goodbye, so they never actually have to say goodbye. When they get to the treehouse, Annie realizes she still has the lei and puts it with the other souvenirs from the other adventures that she and Jack have had looking for magic. When Jack and Annie return to Frog Creek, Morgan Le Fay is waiting for them. The children are happy to see her and show her the proof of the 4 types of magic they found. She looks at the scroll from William Shakespeare and reminds them how they found the magic of theater. Then she looks at the twig from the gorillas and talks about the magic of animals. After that, she looks at the corn seeds from the first Thanksgiving and talks about the magic of community. Finally, holding up Annie's lei, she talks about how they found the magic of friendship in Hawaii. Morgan tells them that since they found these types of magic, they are officially magicians of everyday magic, and that maybe they can use that magic in the realm of fantasy. Before she can tell them more, though, they hear their father calling them. Jack and Annie are happy to be magicians of everyday magic and are excited to have further adventures in the treehouse. Let's learn more about Hawaii. The Hawaiian Islands are a chain of 8 islands, 7 of which are inhabited in the Pacific Ocean. The largest of these islands is Hawaii, and the other are Oahu, Maui, Molokai, Lanai, ni hao, and kaluawe. People have lived on the Hawaiian Islands for thousands of years and arrived there on canoes. Today, Hawaii is home to an estimated 1.4 million people and is visited by millions of people each year. Hawaii is an island chain made of volcanoes and is home to the largest active volcano in the world, called Mauna Loa. This volcano is on the Hawaiian island of Hawaii. And Hawaii is also home to one of the world's most active volcanoes in general, Kilauea, which last erupted in 2021. Hawaii is also home to some of the most beautiful scenery in the world. Some of the most beautiful places in Hawaii include Lanikai Beach, Makahiku Falls, Mauna Kea, and countless others. Some of the most popular traditional Hawaiian foods include poi, a porridge-like dish made from the taro plant, kalua, a pork dish that is cooked all day and often served at celebrations, and haupia, a delicious dessert made from coconut milk. Let's learn more about a tsunami. The word tsunami is a Japanese word that can be translated to mean harbor wave. These powerful waves are often the result of a powerful earthquake and can cause devastating flooding. Sometimes a tsunami is called a tidal wave. However, this is an inaccurate name, since these devastating waves have nothing to do with the tides. After an earthquake or other powerful seismic event that is capable of triggering a tsunami, these terrible waves can move very quickly. Some can reach speeds of 500 miles an hour. One interesting thing about a tsunami is that they are fairly weak on the open ocean. The wave height only increases a few feet high, so sailors out to sea may not even realize anything is wrong. The effects are much more devastating on the shoreline, though, with wave heights up to 200 feet. There are a few warning signs that a tsunami may be approaching. The most obvious sign is something called drawback, where water from the shore is pulled back, leaving areas that are normally covered in water exposed. Sometimes the opposite happens, and when the tide comes in, it simply does not go away. Other signs include water on the shoreline bubbling and foaming in an unusual way. One young girl on vacation in Thailand in 2004, named Tilly Smith, learned about these signs in school and saved herself and countless other people by warning fellow beachgoers about the impending tsunami. The Indian Ocean tsunami of 2004 and the earthquake that caused it was one of the most catastrophic natural disasters in human history. In the event of a tsunami, do what Jack and Annie did in the story and head to high ground. To learn more about these topics, with some books here at the library. Tonight on Magic Treehouse Club, Jack and Annie journeyed to Hawaii and were given Lay's Hawaiian flower necklaces by their new friends. So tonight, we're going to make a paper lei. To make this craft, you'll need the supplies in your activity bag. The string, the straw dividers, the beads, and the flowers. Let's get started. Now, you can arrange your flowers and beads however you'd like, but you must put a plastic straw divider as your first item on your necklace, just to keep things from falling off. So what I'm going to do for my pattern is I'm going to take a bead once I put my plastic straw divider. Then I'm going to take a flower, another bead, and a divider, and I'm going to keep doing that until my necklace is filled with paper, flowers, and beads. But you can use whatever pattern you'd like for your necklace. finished stringing your necklace with your flowers, dividers, and beads, you're going to tie a knot, or ask the grown-up's help to tie a knot. And there you go, your very own paper lei necklace. Try making one at home. Thank you so much for tuning in to Magic Treehouse Club. Do you have a favorite famous Hawaiian place? Vote in the poll posted after this video and find out next week which one was the winner. Your choices are Waikiki Beach, Kilauea, Hanamura Bay, and Mauna Kea. Thank you so much for tuning in to Magic Treehouse Club. See you next week.